going on, traders? This is Jack with the Trading Tribe, and today I actually wanted to review a swing trade idea that I've actually taken in the market, kind of review my thought process and review actually how I go and do these swing trades in the futures market. If this video is valuable, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel for a lot more content like this and a lot more trade ideas like this in the future. If we look at my screen here, right, I have taken a trade on the micro future for the S&P 500. And this is the future called MES. So it's, a pretty minimal way of getting into the S&P 500. It moves about 1/10 the size of ES. So really nice for swing trades on the Thinkorswim platform specifically. The day trading margin is only $1,500 as well. So every point, essentially, this moves about $5 of profit, and it costs about $1,500 to actually get into this trade. And if we actually look at the trade setup itself, we'll kind of look at it from a top-down approach. So if we go to the 90-day chart here, the S&P 500 has really been rebounding really nicely throughout all of 2023. We have had a pretty deep pullback these last few weeks just because of some news that's happening out there, but at the end of the day, right, the S&P 500 is making higher highs and higher lows almost all year, right? If we go back and look at the 4-hour chart, we'll notice all the way from the beginning of January, right? We've really just been grinding higher all year. So buying has definitely paid in 2023. There's definitely been short stints where shorting has worked pretty well from a trading perspective. But from a swing trading perspective, the way I've been actually making money with the S&P 500 future is by actually swing trading this long. And I've done this a couple different ways. I've expressed this same sort of idea on the day trading side as well as the swing trading side. So I'll have another video breaking down how I day trade the ES future, because I'll typically day trade /ES, and then I'll swing trade MES typically so that I don't have as much overnight risk here. Because again, right, every point that the MES moves, you're only losing $5 increments or winning $5 increments. So the losses and the wins are a lot more manageable with really any size account here. And if we notice, right, the best entry from my perspective, right, on the ES this last 6 months has been after a higher high. We'll notice the ES typically grinds a little bit lower and then builds a base and breaks this downward trend line. So we'll notice higher high in February, kind of grinded lower for a little bit, and right when it snapped through that trend line of the highs, this descending trend line here, made new highs or approached those new highs. So the way I've been really entering this all year is once this descending trend line gets broken, I've been either trading the retest or I've been trading the actual break, hoping for that higher high here and managing risk just under that low. So I've actually done this exact trade multiple times this year, but I did this back in March and I did this multiple times, right? So you'll notice this exact same trade worked like 6 or 7 times this year. I took a lot of these. You'll notice my trend lines are still on the chart. And I skipped that one. And then we'll talk through this one I took this week, but at the end of the day, right, all of these trades, right, once it has broken that trend line, it's at least ran up for a small push. And this is a really easy way to capitalize on the ES because you're essentially betting on the US stock market. So when we do enter that bull market, right, you're waiting for a safe place to actually get in to the ES, but it's a really high probable setup because again, right, when you do enter in the ES for the swing trade, you can have an extremely tight stop loss and you have a defined risk and reward area based on that prior high. So fast forwarding into this trade here, we'll look at the 5-day chart And we'll notice really the same thing. So I'm actually going to go to the 20-day chart here. We'll notice we have this strong descending trend line that has acted as pretty much the ceiling these last few weeks. And we'll notice right yesterday we actually broke out of that downward trend line. Again, right, I wait for a clean breakout of the trend line and I wait for a bar to close above the trend line. You'll notice here, right, last week we had a fake out, right? It barely poked through the trend line and then dumped, right? So you don't want to get caught in this buying here because a lot of these will fake out, right? It's essentially dropped all month. So we want to wait for confirmation here. And as soon as that green bar closed above the trend line yesterday, I entered. So I basically took my position and then it was off and running. Really, yesterday it went pretty much straight up. So this is the best sort of thing to see when you get long on the ES, right? For that momentum to really step up. And we'll notice, right, I've also managed the trade. So for my swing trades, what I'll actually do is I'll get into the trade, and then as the trade begins to work, I will move my stop loss around market structure. So if we look at yesterday's day trading chart, right, on the 1 minute time frame, we will notice, right, I got in on the trendline break into this green candle here at 44.60. We'll see that on my Thinkorswim platform. I'm only up a few $100s right now because it's only been 1 day. But if we go down, right, we'll notice my stop loss is also above break even. So now this trade is really risk off, right? I'm not risking $1 on the actual swing trade itself, right? Immediately as this thing made higher highs and higher lows yesterday, I moved my stop loss above break even. I always try to move that stop loss under market structure so that, in order for it to even get to my order, right, it would have to basically prove my idea wrong. So this is a really popular way of managing swing trades and one that I really like because I'm not trailing the stop loss necessarily as the market goes up, but I am protecting that risk and making sure that either way here that I make money on the actual trade itself. If we go to the 20-day time frame, right, we exploded through that near resistance level at 44.86 and we went straight to the next resistance level, right, at 45.17. Here's where I will begin to really manage the trade. So today there's really one of two things that could happen, right? We could have kind of a breathing day where hopefully it comes down to this new support level and kind of breathes here before it takes off for another leg. Or, right, we could get momentum right here, right? We could curl and begin to move past this resistance level and continue to head higher. And really, either way here, right, we're making sure that we're actually going to make money and make profit off of the swing trade. So worst case, this thing can come down and tag me out. But best case scenario, right, it keeps running just like it did yesterday. And the profit potential here is insane, right? Because we got in way down here. So we're essentially risking 90 points for 180. So this is at least a 2-to-1 type trade. And then if you think about it, right, with me moving my stop, that really changes the risk profile because now I'm only risking 30 points for 120. So now it's a 3-to-1 risk to reward type trade. So really quickly, right, you can see the value here of these swing trades, especially if you really refine these entries. You'll notice all year, really, once that trend line is broken, it's just began running, right? This last move was the most impressive, but we'll notice right when it broke past that trend line, right, it made all-time highs and just kept going. And so you can really let these swing trades go as well and continue to just move your stop loss under structure to capitalize as much as you can on the actual trade. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. This is a swing trade that I'm taking super often in the market whenever really this pattern shows up, especially in a bull market. This is something that I'm typically expressing on the swing trading side of things. So excited to show this to the group here, and let me know if you need anything. Thanks, team.